Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. My name is Igat, and we are back after 4 days with session number 15. And you are not going to believe this. You may see it or hear it in the sound of my voice, but this is my second take. Yes, in recording this this yapping session. So what happened was I recorded for 22 minutes. 22. That's a quarter of an hour. And for most of it, I realized my mic was not plugged in. So that 22 minutes is now redundant. But I am not annoyed. Well, I'm slightly annoyed. After all, it is, what time is it? It is 10:55 p.m. It's going to be 11. But today's topic is something that I want to talk about. And I could not save it for another day. I could not save it for next week. I wanted to talk about it today, and that is because I just came back from this cinema. And for you to understand why I chose to go to a cinema on a Wednesday, on a boring Wednesday, I first have to tell you how my day went. And no better place for me to yap than in Babylon. Truthfully, I could have literally done this anywhere else, cause I'm not going to be doing anything in Babylon. Today is just going to be a talking day. And to get things out of the way, I did do some progress. So I'll still update you guys on what I did from the last episode, and that is in this area over here. I am lost. Where is it? I remember it's over here. It's over there, and it's this building over here. Let me take a 360, and it's not done. It's far from done, in fact. It's still missing a lot of texturing, a lot of details, and it's certainly and evidently missing an interior. It is very messy, but I kind of like this messiness actually. I can just add a roof, and enough of distractions. Let us head out. Today is not progress day. Today is not really Minecraft day. Today is true yapping day. It's just gonna be me walking around Babylon without maybe even moving my mouse, because I use hand gestures a lot in real time, and sometimes I just prefer not to hold my mouse, and as you can see now, that's what I'm doing. I'm just using my keyboard. And that's enough of yapping. First, let me tell you how my day started. How I decided to go to the cinema. I woke up at 5 a.m. not because of my alarm, because of this bloody thunder. I got so annoyed and said, oh, you know what? I'll just wake up and I'm going to prepare to go campus. Fine. Done. My class starts at 8 anyway. So I'll reach campus at around 7:15, 7:30. Not even 7:30, 7:15 to 7:25. And my class starts at 8. I'm normally this early, so that's to be expected. But the rain was heavy. On the teacher's side, my side, it has already calmed down. You can guess what happened next. The class got delayed. It got delayed until 9 o'clock. Or at least that's what she said. That's what she announced. But she came at 9:15. Yeah, 15 minutes late. Whatever. The class ends at 10, guys. At 10 a.m. we only had class for 45 minutes. And it took me like 2 hours to journey there. What? Huh? Alright. Well, that's that. But I had a talk I had to attend later on in the day at 2 o'clock. 2 to 4. And it was... I didn't really want to wait, okay? I didn't want to wait for 4 hours. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Yes, 4. I didn't want to wait for 4 hours. So instead I went back home. Because I didn't want to carry my bag around, especially at talk. I didn't need my bag there. And so I decided I'm going to waste the whole day. The whole day is going to be wasted on literally this. So I decided to end my day with a movie. And that's how we ended up here. And the movie I watched, probably one of the best decisions I've made, albeit a strange one, to watch a movie on a Wednesday instead of a Friday, Saturday. But still, I appreciate what I did today. I decided to watch the movie Sinners, the movie that's starring Michael B. Jordan. And I got confused when I was recording the previous 20 minutes whether Michael B. Jordan was actually in the movie. I confused him for someone else, but he is actually in the movie, Michael B. Jordan. And this movie, although I've praised it for 20 minutes just now, I'm gonna praise it again because it's just damn good. Ryan Coogler did an excellent job, man. His previous movies can't really be compared to this. To me, this is its what's the word? Piece of this resistance or something. I can't. Pardon my French, guys. If you can't believe it, I am not French. Is that even French? Piece of the resistance. The piece of the resistance. Yes, let's turn it American and add a tinge of Malaysian into it. And I'm pretty sure I'm hearing rain outside my window. Hopefully the mic doesn't pick it up. But with how loud I'm speaking, it sure will not. And this movie was a pleasant surprise. It wasn't even a pleasant surprise. Normally, a movie that I would watch and fall in love at first sight is becoming pretty common nowadays, because I've watched a ton of great movies, either for my assignments like Babel. You can scroll down my channel and you can see 3 videos or 4 videos about that movie. I recently watched Old Boy for an assignment as well. That was an excellent movie. And now I've watched Sinners, which to me doesn't even compare to those 2 movies that I just mentioned. Or maybe that's not the right word. Certain aspects of this movie can't even... It's just outstanding. They don't even deserve to compete with Old Boy or Babel. Now, both of them had excellent storytelling, very nice cinematography, but this movie has something entirely different. Music. This is a movie that I felt hooked, I felt excited, I felt goosebumps because of the music, not because of the motion picture. This is a first for me too. I want to rewatch this movie. I am not moving my screen. It's not really a good rapping session. It's not really a good yapping session if there's literally nothing on my screen. So you know what? I'm just gonna walk up and down here and there. I'm just gonna touch my keyboard. I'm not really gonna use my mouse. Hopefully that's okay with you guys. I should probably go somewhere that has moving pieces, so at least you know that it's not, or that your computer didn't freeze and in fact it's just me not moving. Let me find for a smoke chimney. Yeah, chimney. Oh yeah, let's go here. Oh, this is another progress that I've made. I've added these 2 gay couple as what me and Shadow joked about. There's a long story behind that, but that's for another time. Sinners first. Now, something that I want to compare to, not necessarily a fair comparison, is Oppenheimer. Probably the other movie that I watched in theaters that really astounded me. Now, Sinners I watched in IMAX. Oppenheimer, I'm pretty sure I watched in normal theaters. I don't remember going for IMAX for Oppenheimer. But at the same time, to me, the fact that I watched this movie in IMAX is not why I prefer Sinners over Oppenheimer. Now, I'm only making this comparison because I've watched both of those movies and I feel like the quality of those movies is up to par with Nolan movies. Of course, Oppenheimer is a Nolan movie, but for me, this Ryan Coogler movie is, for me, up to par with those Nolan movies. To me, of course. I want to say this is highly subjective, but I'm pretty sure all those praise for Sinners is not for naught. This movie truly deserves the praise it gets. 98 on Rotten Tomatoes, 8.2 on IMDb. That's not scores to scoff at, even though it is coming from Rotten Tomatoes, which is arguably not a credible rating. But still, the fact that it is still 98 is an accomplishment nonetheless, and I totally agree with the score. Now, to me, I want to emphasize I want to emphasize this first before I continue ranting on. This is a horror movie, and we will be divulging into spoiler territory. This is something we probably cannot avoid. We have to talk about spoilers if I want to justify my excitement, because there are quite a few scenes that I really want to touch on. And I'm pretty sure for those who watched the movie, you know exactly why I want to talk about that scene, the scene of Sinners. And to those who have not watched the movie, you are probably in the category of me sounding ridiculous. Why is a movie deserving of such high praise just because of its music? Just because of its music. That's not something typically famous in movies. Yes, sound does play a crucial role in movies, but the medium itself is motion picture. It is not audio. But damn, this motion picture and audio, this format in this movie plays off each other really well, but the audio just comes out at the top for me. But of course, the audio can't be at the top without the motion picture, the cinema vibes highlighting this part of the movie, to say the least. Now, if you have watched the movie, you understand where I'm coming from. You understand my excitement on why I say the music is the main draw for this movie. Not the story, not the horror aspect, and not the actors, but the music. And I want to say, this is not me downplaying the other aspects of the movie. Yes, the actors played a great job. The story, however, to me, it's not to my liking. It felt more like a zombie movie. And spoiler alert again, I want to emphasize this again. There'll be heavy spoilers moving on with the video. So if you want to watch Sinners for yourself, which I highly recommend, at least you try to, even if you don't like the plot, go and trust me, go and watch it for the music. And because of that, let us move on to where I stopped, which is me giving the spoilers. This is the time where I forgot what I wanted to say. Well, forget about what I wanted to say. Let me move on to my next point. Boy, I should not have gone onto that tangent of the spoilers, but that completely derailed my mind and what I wanted to say, essentially. But I want to drive the nail coffin, go for this movie for the audio. Don't expect much out of the story. I know where I stopped off right when I said story. Yes, the story is not to my liking. To me, it felt more like a zombie movie than, rather, spoilers, a vampire movie. Now, maybe I'm envisioning something different when it comes to vampire stuff. But to me, vampire is more like Castlevania, something more royal, something more stylish. But for me, Dracula vampires is not really raw. To me, this movie's story felt raw. Not really story, but the premise. It felt raw instead of royal, posh. Well, at least that's how I imagine a vampire story. But And it's still not a bad story. It's just, it's not for me. I might just be desensitized to horror in general. It's just, I find horror not scary anymore, except for it really needs to be a very specific part of horror that I need to experience to find it scary, which is another topic for another time. But in the midst of this story, in the midst of this vampire tale, is a story about music. The music is not something that is just a soundtrack in this movie. The music plays a part. It plays a character in the movie. It itself is part of the cast. It is not delegated to something merely played in the background. It is something that plays an active part in pushing the narrative forward. Now, this may sound like an exaggeration. A horror movie, this sounds more like a musical drama, but I wouldn't blame you for calling it a musical. And I would prefer this to be a musical, to be honest. I felt like I would enjoy the movie more if it didn't had the hints of horror in it. But I feel like also the horror emphasizes on the music because it just feels different. The horror plays a part in the cinematography shown in the movie, and without that same theme of cinematography that can't be achieved without a horror setting, I feel like the music will hit different. But as I said before, every part of this movie plays together nicely. It cooperates with each other, but it also pushes music at the top. Even at the start of the movie, it explains music. It explains blues, where it can bring communities together. It can bring people together, but it also can attract evil, which is essentially the theme of this movie, or not the theme, but the essential core foundation of this movie. Where, again, spoiler territory, the main character, I'm pretty sure his name is Samuel. I'm very bad with names. I have to I have to say sorry for that. I'm really bad with names. I just realized I forgot to reset my timer, so I'm going to start my timer now. It's been 1 second since I have started my timer. Now, Samuel is playing a guitar, and this act of playing a guitar, at least I'm pretty sure it's called a guitar. It looks like a banjo, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure it's not a banjo though. What do I know about music? And this act of playing the guitar attracts these vampires. And as I said before, the introduction at the beginning is the foundation for the movie itself. It's a really nice way to ease the viewers in. Well, to me at least, as I said, this is subjective. I'm still a mass communication student. I'm not a film student. Although I studied film, I'm at heart a mass communication student. Okay, so cut me some slack if I don't what do you call it? What's the word? If I don't trigger your profound thinking or like that, or like that. Oh, I'm even failing as a mass communication student. But Samuel does a bloody good job at playing that guitar, and his voice, oh my god, his voice, damn, is it something to look forward to every time you hear. When he sang, when this scene happened, when this scene appeared on screens, you just felt goosebumps. That was my feeling. I was just smiling. I was just tapping my legs. I was just snapping my fingers. It felt that significant. That scene held the power to move the audience to their will, or to the scene's will, to stomp their legs to the beat, to snap their fingers, to bob their head to the music. This is why I think, to me, the music is the core part, or the best part about Sinners. And when he plays this music, when he plays his song, he doesn't only play it for people of those time. The scene itself transcends both time and culture. It brings people from the future, it brings people from the past, it brings people from different culture, all in the same establishment, just dancing. That whole establishment just becomes a fiery amalgamation of music, of tunes, and I am totally there for it. You can feel that this is not something made out of coincidence. It is something strategically made with blood, sweat, and tears. Boy, does it show! And as I want to say again, the other part of the movie, the cinematography, the acting, is not something to be scoffed at. It is still plenty good. The fact that the film is shot like that time period, or not shot like that during that time period, like that during that time period. My English is falling apart already. But the fact that you can see the graininess of the film when watching in IMAX is something I really appreciate. It really drills in the themes and tone of the movie. That the time of it is truly in the mid-90s. And oh my god, the one-shot camera takes from this movie is something really good. Of course, it's not the best one-take camera take out there. Like, I know 1917 also had a really good camera one-take camera take. You know what I'm talking about, where they don't cut at all. And this movie had plenty of scenes of like that. But I remember one scene where I forgot their names, but this Asian mother it started with this Asian child. She was walking out of the shop, and the camera just follows her until she meets the mother, and then the camera switches back to the mother's period. Not switches back. Let me rephrase this. The camera follows the little girl on her back. That means it's showing a back shot of the little girl. And she goes to meet the mother, and when the mother comes out of the shop, the camera follows the mother front facing the camera, not the back. And all of this is just done one take, and you get to see the surrounding, you get to see, or you can get to hear the chatter here and there, and it's just marvelous, man. This one take, it's not something it's not like a breakthrough or something, but it's just something I appreciate. It's there not because it's just part of the movie, but it's there because of the art. You could have easily substituted this scene for, the child walks out or exits the shop, cuts to her meeting the mother in another shop, and then cuts to the mother meeting one of the characters. It could have easily been done like that, but instead they chose to have a one take, one shot, one take. I'm not sure what's the correct term for it. I'm pretty sure it's one take. A one-take camera take. I'm gonna call it that. But the fact that they made it that is purely because of the art of the medium of movies as a medium, not because of convenience, to say the least. And it's an excellent movie that you really have to watch, and it has different styles of music. It is not only what do you call it? It's not only exclusive to the the blues theme. There's also what's the right word? Scottish? No, not Scottish. An Irish dance at one of the scenes where again, spoilers, all the vampires meet up and just perform this ritual, and you just feel it. Yes, it is horror, and this scene does emphasize on the horror aspect of the movie. Those vampires just circling around their leader. Oops, I did not mean to actually press exit. I better move to a different spot. Shadow, you're probably going to be watching this bored hell out of your mind, just looking at the same scene over and over again. But going back to my point, where the vampires are just circling their leader round and round and round, and you just feel this a hypnotic sensation where it just makes you or forces you, that's why I said hypnotic, it just forces you to feel discomforting while also feeling excited to say, because even though we are put in the boots of the antagonist, you still feel the excitement they have over the music they are performing. You still feel the rhythm. You literally, no joke, feel the rhythm when you're in the cinema. You feel the vibrations on your feet. You feel the dialogue piercing your ears through every side of the room. Well, at least in IMAX, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure the experience is different when you are in a deluxe, not deluxe, in a normal cinema. Now, that may enhance the way you experience Sinners, and I would say it's worth that a couple more extra bucks to experience this movie. Because once this is on streaming platforms, you're gonna watch it, you're gonna enjoy it for the music, but you're not gonna feel the same as how it is showed in cinemas. Same like Nolan movies. Although it comes to streaming, it will never feel the same as an IMAX experience, or at least a cinema experience. That, for me, is something important when it comes to experiencing movies. And this movie, as I emphasize throughout this yapping session, is something that you should probably keep an eye out on, not just wait for it to come on streaming services. Now, as I said before, I didn't really like the horror aspect, but the movie had this sort of hum throughout the runtime, and this hum was it just played well into the horror theme. As I said before, I'm not a big fan of the horror plot, but I'm not saying it's lazily done as well. Although I didn't like the plot, I can evidently see that it took effort to construct that plot, to plan out the mise-en-scène. And as I said before, you can just see the effort that is put in this movie. Oh my god, I'm gonna take a sip of water. I'm gonna continue the tradition. I'm gonna still drink on camera, on mic. Give me a second. Excuse me. I have finished drinking water. On my excuse me again. On my phone it says I've been yapping for 10 minutes, so I'm pretty sure I've been yapping for quite a bit longer. Well, what else do I want to talk about this movie? I think I pretty much said all my points about this movie. And final say, watch this movie, experience it in cinemas. I really want you to experience it in cinemas. That, I feel like that's the best way to experience it. But of course, if you don't have the chance, still experience the movie in any available forms known to you. And as I stepped out of the cinema, I felt missing it. I felt like rewatching it again. Obviously, it's still too soon to rewatch a movie that I just watched a few hours ago. Literally a few hours ago, not even days. I feel like if I rewatch it too soon, I'll just ruin the experience I had. But a movie never made me feel like this, to want to rewatch it, not because of the visuals, but because of the music. And again, watching it in the cinema is something something vastly different from watching it at home. Now, that may seem obvious. Obviously, it's completely different. But the fact that I think is the most important when it comes to cinema versus home is the darkness of the cinema, the darkness that surrounds you, the overall atmosphere forces you to focus on the motion picture in front of you. That focus will enable you to concentrate. Now, obviously, if you don't achieve concentration on the movie, if you don't achieve that enjoyment that the movie wants to provide you, it's probably not a movie meant for you. But to me, most of the movies I do experience in cinemas have this effect where it forces me to concentrate. It doesn't force me to actually concentrate, it forces me to enjoy. And that's not a negative thing. It means that I'm just experiencing the message that the movie wants to tell me correctly. The the director intended us to experience the movie in this form, and we are doing so. And another thing I want to highlight, the fact that the darkness emphasizes the motion picture. Yes, there's a lot of other elements present in the movie. We've discussed this just now: the cinematography, the sound, the music, the actors, and the fact again that the cinema forces you to focus on the motion picture itself, not the sound, greatly emphasizes on the quality of the music in this movie, that you pay attention more to the sound instead of the motion picture. And that's just impressive when something forces you to take note of something else, but you end up focusing on another part of themselves. It's impressive how outstanding something so, in hindsight, trivial, how something so trivial can be something so brilliant. And that's not me exaggerating. You have to watch to understand. And I still think while on the way back, how this movie would sound on my earphones. I have a pretty good pair of IEMs, I would say. It's the Moondrop Aria 2, if I remember correctly. I would say it's a pretty good pair. It's not like $1,000 or something like that, but still, I would say pretty good. And I would say if I watched or if I listened to Sinners using these IEMs, I wouldn't think of it as being that great than what I am actually describing the music in Sinners to be now. I have a very good reason for that. Even if I had somehow earphones or headphones or a sound system better than the ones they have in theaters, and I exclusively listen to the music, I don't think it'll have the same effect, at least on first viewing. On second hearing or third viewing after I watch the movie, I may have a different effect. But if you experienced Sinners without motion picture and just the music, I feel like you would have a very different experience. Even though let's say the sound system provides the atmosphere in the cinema where you feel the vibrations, and obviously the sound quality is top notch, nothing is complementing that music to me. This is just my opinion. I'm not a music maker. I've never produced a single piece of music, but I don't think I need to produce a single piece of music to explain how I think or how I know that this music present in Sinners is something top notch. But even if it's top notch, I don't think it would still be great, but I don't think it would be as great now if it was just watched or if it was just heard alone. Now, remember what I said, without that horror element, the cinematography would be very different, and because of the lack of theme because of the lack of a message, because of the lack of cinematography, the sound aspect, the music aspect will take a tone down in terms of profundity. In terms of profoundness, something along those lines. You get what I mean? Hopefully, I hope you get what I mean. But essentially, it feels like it loses its meaning. It feels like it loses its backstory. The music has no backstory without anything complementing it. That is my final point. Because of the brilliance of the other aspects that allows the music to shine this brightly is the sole reason, not the sole reason actually, I can't take that back, but it's one of the key reasons why the music is the best part of Sinners. Imagine the music being played without Samuel performing what he did when he did. Hopefully, I don't give up too much. I really don't want to give vivid descriptions of the scenes because I feel like that'll spoil the movie even more, and you'll make you guys have nothing to look forward to. So hopefully you can forgive my vagueness. But yeah, imagine that music being played without Samuel performing his performance. It would feel entirely different, and not only Samuel, the other actors present, the so-called atmosphere in the air. I was about to say love in the air, romance in the air, but it's not that. It's really not that. There are hints of romance, but it's not what I want to focus. But it's all about the vibe, where it's blues. To me, this movie felt cold. Yeah, well, I'll say it. If you watched my previous yapping session, you know what I mean by cold. It's something that I can probably never describe, but it's something I know that will be really good when I first experience it. In that so-called show, or in that show called game, in that show called music video, in that show called audio, and anything of that. So if I feel that sensation that I describe as cold, I know I will forever enjoy that piece of media. And that's Sinners to me. It's something that I will probably look back on and definitely remember. This is not something I can easily forget. This is something that it is akin to when I actually enjoy music. To me, music has always been a background sound. It is something that was always being played at the back of my mind. Now, I may actually listen to music more than the casual listener. It's a bold fact, yeah, especially how much people listen to music these days. It's getting a bit chilly. Let me off the aircon. But yeah, it's maybe a bold fact with how much music people consume these days. But to me, I listen to music every time I board the train, every time I board the bus, every time I read a book, every time I do any activity at all. Whenever I play Minecraft, whenever whenever there's a lecturer not present in class, it's always music. But I'm not enjoying the music. It's just there because it's there. I feel like it's not even music at that point. It's just voices everywhere, to be honest. With my earphones in, I just hear voices. And it's not bad. I'm not saying I hate the music I listen to. Obviously, I do have music that I actually enjoy listening to. But at the same time, I can't really call it enjoy of listening when all I'm doing is just greedily consuming or hastily consuming. It is very rare that I look or I go through or look forward to listening to a particular piece of music. In fact, I can think of two pieces of music art that I genuinely remember enjoying. Obviously, there are probably tons of other musics that I have genuinely enjoyed, but two stand out from that enormous list, and that is Queen's Live Aid performance and what's the word? Freddie Mercury's Remembrance concert. I'm pretty sure excuse my English. I'm pretty sure remembrance is the wrong term when used in this context. There's a specific word for it, but I forgot. But it's essentially when various artists just came together to perform as a tribute to Freddie Mercury. That's the word, tribute. And it was also done to raise awareness for AIDS. And that whole 3-hour concert, I remember really enjoying that. Same goes with Queen's Live Aid. When I first experienced it, it was something else. It was something else. It was the first time I've experienced Queen performing so raw. That's my first impression of Queen. Obviously, I've listened to Queen before that, but that was when I truly became a Queen's fan. This happened, I'm not sure how long ago. It's actually awkward. When I was 16? Not definitely not 14, 16, 15 or 17, somewhere around that. And I remember really enjoying those two pieces of music art. But the weird thing is, I almost never rewatch those performances. Well, partly because the tribute concert I can't find it on YouTube anymore. There's probably clips, but I can't find the 3-hour YouTube video anymore. I had it saved, but I'm pretty sure it got removed. Maybe it got striked or something. I'm not sure. There could be many reasons for it. And the Live Aid performance, although on YouTube, I still can't bring myself to watch it. I can't bring myself to think that feeling that I had when I first watched it, or when I go to actually enjoy music. I feel like if I just put it up on my second monitor, let it play, it feels cheap. It feels disrespectful to me, not to Queen, but to my interests. Well, that's in my opinion, of course. Maybe that's why I treat music as how I treat music now, where it's just a background sound. It's because I've listened to music too much, where I just relegate it to a position of useless background chatter. But certainly not. Whenever I listen to games, whenever I listen to music in games, I thoroughly enjoy it. But when I listen to the soundtrack outside of the game, for a few weeks I may enjoy it genuinely, but it always feels underwhelming after that time period. That's why I don't want, or I'm hesitant to rewatch or to re-listen to things I really like. Even one of my favorite, or maybe the best media that I have consumed, Violet Evergarden. Not in terms of anime, in terms of media in general, where it's one of my favorite pieces of media. I first decided to watch it at least once a year, and I did that for 2 years. After that, I did not. I stopped. And now I can't bring myself to watch it. I feel like I'll taint my experience on my few watch throughs with it. And maybe the next time I actually watch it, there has to be maybe a special occasion, maybe with someone else, or maybe it's a special day in my life. Who knows? But I can't just, it's my sem break, and I just can't bring myself to actually go find the episode and watch it. I just can't. And that's the same feeling I have for Sinners. I really would like to rewatch it, but I don't think I should. And I feel like that's a good feeling to have. I know it's a pretty common feeling. I know many people have this feeling where they should not watch, and it's a bit comforting to know that this is a lot of people have the same thoughts. And here comes Barbie without a care in the world. But as I said before, it's kind of comforting. And at the same time, it's reassuring to know that this movie has firmly placed itself. This movie has firmly placed itself within my mind. I have recognized it to be one of my favorites. Not obviously not the favorite, but one of it, firmly placing itself within my existence. It's a nice way to put it. And contrasting this, the previous movie I watched was also something very fun. It was the Minecraft movie. I'll probably save that for another topic. In fact, what actually inspired me to continue this yapping session was the Minecraft movie. But I'm 2 yapping sessions in and I've not even touched on the Minecraft movie. And I actually have to do an interview for a feature article as part of my assignment, where I'll probably interview Shadow about it. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think I shall end it here. I don't want to go on a bit. I don't want to go on too long. I've been yapping continuously. In fact, I really like the fact that this will be uploaded on YouTube more than my other yapping sessions, because I can look back on this video and I can accurately think, or I can accurately see the excitement I had for this movie. I said this in the failed 20-minute recording that I didn't want to procrastinate this yapping session, because if I were to do this next week, I would probably have talked about the movie. I would probably still have said I love the movie, but at the same time it would be a yapping session with me still building maybe a small interior. It would still be a yapping session about me finding the secret schlong. It would be still a yapping session about me reviewing progress. It would be still a yapping session about me talking about other things. But now here, I have preserved the excitement that I had watching or going to watch this movie. And because I preserved this, I can accurately come back to this feeling. I can accurately see what the past me felt without really any sort of external influence to influence me yet. If you get what I mean. It is my raw, truest feelings about a media that I have recently found that I really liked. And last words before I end it: go watch Sinners. Go watch it in IMAX, go watch it in cinema, maybe even go watch it blindfold. Did I actually explain that? The reason or how I discovered this movie, it's by the YouTube short guy. What's his name? Magnify, the one that created or maybe he did create it, the micronation called Ironland. Let me search it up. Yes, Magnify. He created a short YouTube short about how you should watch Sinners blindfolded, and that really piqued my interest. And I went to watch the next day. I knew it was going to be good, but at the same time I didn't know it was going to be that good, like Oppenheimer or Nolan film good. I expected it to not surpass my expectation. I expected it to remain good and within my expectation, but I did not expect it to be brilliantly great. That's my final verdict. Brilliantly great. Where it makes you stomp, it makes you snap your fingers, it makes you hum, it makes you think, it makes you enjoy the music despite being chased by vampires or being hunted down and being eaten and devoured by them. It still makes you enjoy the blues, if I should say so myself. If I want to end this a bit more poetically. And that is all from me today. I shall try to upload this session today, if not tomorrow. Not sure how long will this video take to go out, but we shall see. And without further ado, thank you for watching. See you in session 16. No promises again, whether it be next week, next day, next year, next millennium, next decade, who knows. Thank you truly. Go watch this in cinemas, and I shall be forever grateful. Thank you.